All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Game Time Gents. We were very surprised and very happy with the reception we had on episode 1. We honestly thought nobody was going to listen to us at all, but we're very grateful for those that did, and we're grateful if you're still here now. So we're going to keep chugging along. Now, this last episode was very free-flowing and not very formal at all. This episode is going to be broken down a little bit more into topics, and then at the end we're going to do a tier list of all the different quarterbacks in the league that we're going to predict what their rankings will be. And you'll be able to see that on our socials at the end. So let's get into our first topic. We'll just call it news and notes for now. I don't know if we'll come up with a fancy name later, but let's just go with news and notes. So, anybody want to get started with one of their topics? Fish, what about you?
Well, as far as gaming, obviously that we have, one of the most anticipated games that I think a lot of us are looking forward to. We've had a few ups and downs in the gaming, especially shooting world. Black Ops 6. We've seen a lot of great things. This last game recently has been good. They've updated a lot of good things. I know before that, they had a few games that were kind of duds. A lot of people were saying that COD is over with. They had a good run. Black Ops 6 are doing a lot of good and crazy things. So that's been the biggest thing on my end, as well as Diablo also just dropped Season 5. So that's just been an incredible change of pace there as well. The amount of strategy that goes into it from watching a lot of these kids, a lot of these YouTubers, it's a whole different realm. I think myself and Stan are halfway decent at it, and then next, someone's hitting a boss for 2 billion damage. So that's my anticipation going forward. With this season, we're really excited about that, and then Black Ops 6 is, in my opinion, one of the most anticipated games coming out. So we're really looking forward to getting, especially with the new jumping maneuverability. Nothing like getting a Kobe fadeaway jump, quick scope to the face by a 14-year-old. So really looking forward to that coming out soon. So frustration, I could already feel myself. I was at a calm 2 when I started talking about this. Now I'm at an irritated 4. So you could just because I anticipated it. So that's in my realm for the gaming. Obviously, sports-wise, football's back. We've already seen some injuries. So all your fantasy dynasty teams, your leagues, we got some more information coming, but some things kind of look, Jahmyr Gibbs with his little hamstring going on, a lot of holdouts going on, much as anticipated going year to year with a lot of these, athletes. But yeah, outside of that and the personal news, sister's getting married this weekend, so super stoked for her.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
That's awesome. I'll be there.
Yeah, she's the number one in the family. So just trying to crawl my way up to, the 5th spot beside, behind the Mustang and our dog and stuff. So I got me a black suit. Currently getting my pants hemmed for a second time. Because apparently my ass is just not as big as what the guy thought. It's always a good time. And by the way, the guy over at the K&G, the guy that does the hemming, has very much a characteristic of the suit Nazi. So it's actually, we've named him in the family the suit Nazi. He talks and just like him. His mannerisms are just like him. He's got a very thick accent. So it's a good time. So looking forward to going back, picking up my bottoms tomorrow, and hopefully they hug the leg just a little bit more. So that's all the news on my end. Mason, if you want to kick it off, take it over on your end.
I don't got much, man, other than Hollywood Brown doesn't have to have surgery, so I'm very excited about that.
Big plus.
Maybe he'll miss a couple games. Who cares? But we're still going to win a Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's right.
For 4 weeks, right?
God, yeah, Mason's one of those bandwagon.
Here we go again.
Fans. I forgot. Yeah. By the way, this is Mason. Guys, if you guys didn't recognize from the last podcast, Mason actually upgraded his mic. So this
not
is
filming on a Pop-Tart wrapper anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's not on a ham radio anymore. He's not doing that stuff anymore. So he finally got an upgrade. Spent $8 on a mic and sounds incredibly more.
$8? If I spent $8, I'd sound like a mid-Atlantic broadcaster.
No, way better than that 5 mic you had, man.
It's so true.
Yeah, well, other than that, no, that's fine. Other than that, that's really all I got on the sporting news. Personal news, my last day at my current job is tomorrow. And then I start a new job in plumbing, and I'm excited about that. So,
the pipes.
Got a career now instead of just, whatever I was at before. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Getting to clean other people's shit, man.
Right, but I get paid a decent chunk, so I'm not complaining. It could be worse. I could have no job, so I'm not.
True.
Yeah.
Not mad about it. You know what I mean? And we're always gonna need plumbers, so I'm excited. Gaming news, don't really got much there, other than still waiting on Overwatch's new season to come out. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's either this one or the next one where they're gonna do the test periods for the 6v6, and it's supposed to take over quick play. So quick play is no longer going to be 5v5, it's going to be 6v6. And if it does well, then they'll put the 6v6 back in comp.
Well, that was the original Overwatch too, right? 6v6?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's this one coming up. It's going to be 6v6.
It was two of every role, right? 2 tank, 2 support, and then 2 DPS.
Which will be huge.
That strategy is going to be overwhelming. I'm already at an irritated 9 now, just hearing about that. Plus, the new character drops too, doesn't it?
Yeah, the new character.
She
I want to play her. I didn't get to play her. Yeah,
well, you got to get on. You got to get on.
That's right. You got to get on.
You got to get on.
It was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. She definitely was. So hopefully they don't nerf her on the ground. But
no, I don't got nothing else. Zach, what you got, man?
Gaming news, not a whole ton. Madden just came out in early access. Going to see if it can actually keep up with the hype and,
I don't know,
positivity that college football has had.
To me, it feels like they just put all their money into college football.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, they added some animations and stuff, and you can import your Road to Glory character, which is cool, but I've seen that there's really not much from that. Like, it's still kind of the same as what it was. You just bring your character up.
Right, right.
Might pick it up when it's on sale just for the Ultimate Team. Big fan of that. It's always fun, collecting the cards and making your own team of the legends of yesteryear and today's stars. Been seeing a lot of this game called, it's from Delta Force Hawk Ops, which is looks like a Battlefield kind of clone, but a lot of people are saying it's just as good, if not better than Battlefield, and it's free to play. So might have to look into downloading that and giving that a shot, because I love me a good Battlefield. But sports news, Olympics just ended, NFL starting next Olympics in 4 years. Flag football is going to be in there, so that's going to be interesting.
I heard they were taking out was it breakdancing. I was like super stoked that to see some
Ray
Gun.
And then saw it. I'm like, what are we? This is dancing. It's just mad.
Wasn't she just on Jimmy Fallon too or something? She was just on a late night show.
Yeah, she's doing yoga stretches out there.
I can't stand.
Yeah, she's just like fish, man.
Man.
It was a rough one. So flag football is going to be very interesting.
Do NFL players play in the flag football league?
Yeah.
Joe Burrow said he wants to be quarterback.
Dude, could you just imagine like Tyreek out there?
Yeah, did they just give us gold already?
Justin.
Which would be great. It'd be great for Burrow because, he doesn't need an offensive line.
Put Tyreek up against some random Canadian. I'm sorry.
It's game.
Kind of funny.
It's game. But, it's that news. I think Jalen Hurts is the ambassador fish for you there. Get some Eagles love in there. But, it's kind of flag football's blowing back up again, that's actually coming to a lot of colleges, mainly in the women's side of sports. There's some NAIA schools that are starting to offer scholarships for flag football, which is really cool. There's talk of a pro league coming. So, football is really becoming this inclusive sport, whether it's, regular old tackle football or even now flag football. So
that's cool.
Just get more people into the game. That's what That's what it's for.
100%.
Yeah. And then personal news, not much going on. Little guy turns 1 here soon. Can't believe it. Time flies by, as they say, and holy crap, it does. Excited for that party, though.
You play Overwatch yet, or what are we doing here?
Dude, he's got the little game controller. He's learning to press the buttons. I take batteries out of my Xbox controllers. We're trying to get it started young. He's got to be better than his dad, which isn't hard.
No, it's really not. But honestly, you know what? I think even with the batteries out, and maybe he might be missing a joystick, he's still better than Nova.
Who?
Yikes!
Helps if he gets on. He's kind of like Mason in that regard.
That's true.
And again, reflecting what I said last podcast, if you're hearing names you don't recognize, it could be because they could be additions later on. At least guess.
Maybe eventually. Yeah.
Gotta get on first, though, man.
Yikes.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right. So as for me, I don't really have any personal or gaming news. Mason took my gaming news there. We're just waiting to see how Overwatch 6v6 works. Interested to see, how it impacts the queue times and things. But I do have a lot of sports news. First of all, kind of breaking news, kind of not. Ian Rappaport today tweeted out an update on the Brandon Ayuk situation. Said the Steelers and the 49ers have a deal on a potential trade, and Pittsburgh is in a good place on an Ayuk contract. Sources say if San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's done. San Fran has an offer out to Ayuk on a long-term deal for him to stay. He has not accepted. So it seems like this is all in Ayuk's hands. To me, at least that's what it seems like. It seems like if he does not get traded, he's just not going to play football next year. I don't know how true that is, but that seems to be the facade he's giving up. I mean, we've seen guys hold out for multiple weeks in a season.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell being one, but I don't know. I feel like it never really pays off for them. Maybe it's different because he's a receiver, but Le'Veon Bell, I mean, he never really came back the same way, did he?
No.
After holding out that long.
No.
Well, he was already aging. I mean, Ayuk's still young, right? He's a receiver, so his longevity is out there. So he could, sit out outside of the fines and such. He could sit out a year and still be fine, still in his prime. Le'Veon, when he did it, though, he was already running back years-wise. He was already aging out of that. And then, yeah, you're right. He just never his cuts, his breakaway speed was just never the same. Even though that he was supposedly training, every day doing this. We saw all those beach videos and such.
Right.
It just didn't look the same. Unfortunately, I was one of those guys that took a flyer on him and it did not pay off. So I am with the frustrations on that specific holdout. But back to the Ayuk thing, I mean, yeah, it would make sense. I just don't know. I like San Fran rumors that they want a receiver in return. Who do they want? Because they would want somebody of Ayuk quality or top tier. Only one on that team is either that rookie they picked up, that Wilson guy, or George Pickens. And I don't see them giving up either of them. Unless, for some reason they give up Najee, but they get CMC and a plethora of running backs behind there. So I'm definitely curious to see how that turns out. And if he does sit out a year, I mean, it just plays into the whole diva role of, I want this much because I produced this 1 year. I mean, he's been good, but he really blew up last year, and he did well, for sure, 100%. But at the same time, you kind of argue that team's incredibly stacked. I mean, it's tough to cover CMC out of the back, Kittle, everyone else on the receiving core there. So, I don't know. It's a toss-up. Definitely going to keep a close eye on that for sure to see how that all changes. And, of course, a plethora of other holdouts from big-name receivers could fluctuate how people T. Higgins kind of looking in a good prime there because Chase was held out of practice that he did not show up. So if that continues, obviously he's going to hit with fines. But if he also sits out, that means T. Higgins' spot automatically jumps up, especially in any dynasty or fantasy league, because this is his contract year. He got franchised, so I know he's got a big chip on his shoulder and he's ready to take on the number one role. So, but I mean, we'll discuss way more than that, especially for the holdouts and everything like that. So, definitely some early football news for sure, and a lot of drama going with it.
Yeah, there's 3 very big name receivers right now that are looking for contracts, and Ayuk, Chase, and CD, and it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean,
yeah, but Dallas has the money to pay CD.
Jerry Jones has been very much dragging his feet on that, though.
Yeah, he's said multiple times that
I think he's just doing like hey, you play for me type of thing. I think he's just trying to pull a man card. Like you're not just gonna get whatever you want.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think you pay CD whatever he wants.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, CD, that guy's a ball player.
He was over 20% of the target share last year. That's insane.
Who's your 2? If you lose CD, who's their 2? Brandon Cooks?
Is it still Brandon Cooks?
Yeah.
And then they have a rookie there now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple first years too that, I mean, they had flash in the pans last year, but again, that team is, and I hate to say it, is fairly good. But the smart thing would be is to pay CD, but then you got to look at Dak, and then you got to look, I mean, what are you going to pay 2 players, and then the next 5 years?
No, get rid of Dak. Get rid of Dak. Trey Lance is looking crazy.
Yeah, he threw it right to the defense the other day.
Yeah, true.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, they've got Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, and then a bunch of guys that are not going to make the team, probably. I'm just looking at Bleacher Report right now.
Yeah.
They also have someone named Jalen Burks. CD was the number 1 receiver last year, finished 6th overall across all
they got Jalen Burks. Is that the guy from Tennessee? Originally?
No.
Traylon Burks. I'm thinking of Traylon Burks.
He's from South Carolina. Jalen Burks. Or Jalen Brooks. I apologize. Jalen Brooks.
No.
In other news, sticking with the NFL, we have not talked about the dynamic kickoff yet. Now, this is a huge change, and it goes from alignments to landing zones, and if the ball doesn't hit the landing zone, you could get the ball in the 40 or the 30. So let me just go through here and read these topics real quick, or these rules. The alignment, so all kicking team players other than the kicker will line up with 1 foot on the receiving team's 40-yard line. The kicker cannot cross the 50 until the ball touches the ground or player in the landing zone or end zone. The 10 kicking team players cannot move until the ball is hit. Till the ball hits the ground or a player in the landing zone or end zone. So they're kind of setting it up as a run play, it seems like. I'm not sure how much preseason football you guys have watched, but I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to make it a much more exciting play than,
I agree.
There goes the ball sailing over the back of the end zone again, get the ball to 25. So,
it
seems like once teams figure it out, I think we may see more and more kick return TDs just because there's less speed buildup for those, the kicking team players to kind of blow through those blocks. You could, look at putting even, bigger, better blockers out there because of the short gap. And you could see some insane stuff coming this year.
You're probably going to see a change in team makeup too, because like you said, bigger, better guys to block. You might carry a couple more offensive linemen. You might carry a couple more tight ends just to be, big bodies out there to get in the way. But the landing zone, what I'm talking about, is the area between the receiving team's goal line and its 20-yard line. Looks like any kick that is short of that landing zone is treated like a kickoff out of bounds. That's when the receiving team gets the ball at the 40-yard line. Any kick that hits the landing zone must be returned. And then any kick that hits in the landing zone then goes into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team, and then it is ruled as a touchback. So they get it at the 20.
Nice. That's kind of cool, though.
I think we've already seen a safety because of like misunderstanding the rules, right? I think the
Yes,
Chiefs
yeah,
did
he
one.
tried to get into he tried to treat it like a touchback, put his like foot in the end zone, but it had already bounced into a certain landing zone. Yeah, it was
Right,
definitely
yeah.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they got penalized for that. Yeah, I do remember that. I just don't remember which game it was.
I can't remember either. I think it was the Chiefs game. 'Cause I was upset. I was like, come on.
It's definitely going to be interesting. And then additionally to all this is onside kicks are not allowed until the fourth quarter. The onside kick must be declared, so there's no surprise onside kicks anymore. Shout out Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Never going to get that
Just
again.
Never do it.
Yeah.
And you can only perform an onside kick if you're the losing team. So
It's interesting.
it's going
That
to
is
be interesting.
Yeah, not a fan.
I
Like
just don't see any other way to perform an onside kick unless you are a losing team. Why would you need to do it as a winning team?
I guess to catch them off guard. I don't know. I've never really seen that before, but
Catch them on guard for a more clock if they get it.
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, I don't think I'm missing any rules here. Now that I'm looking at the document. I said the kicking team players cannot move until the ball hits the ground or a player. That's what makes it seem a little more safe. It's dynamic, but it's also safe.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you don't guys just running 4-4s downfield trying to lay someone out. That definitely
Yeah,
not
yeah,
I don't know if
Not
you guys
only
ever
four-
watched. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say not only 4-4, but 6-3, 260 running 4-4s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
yeah.
So the impact on
Ballistic
that is
missile.
crazy. Yeah.
I don't know if you
absolutely.
guys have ever watched old classic football, like old videos, but
Wedge.
man, the wedge breaker is a crazy position.
Yeah.
You're the guy that's supposed to run into four guys holding hands. Yeah, good luck. Definitely have CTE at that point.
100%.
Speaking of CTE,
Antonio Brown.
the first Guardian cap was worn in an actual game. That was a preseason game.
Yeah.
But it was Jonathan Taylor, running back of the Colts.
We love that. We love
He
that as
wore-
Jonathan Taylor owners.
Yeah, he wore a Guardian cap in a game. Now, they do have those covers on there now to make it look kind of like the normal helmets, but
Yeah, don't they put the logo and the number on it again now?
yeah, they
Like
put the
the
logo,
game one anyway.
Right, the logo, the numbers on the back. I think if it's got a stripe, it mimics the look of the real helmet. But
Yeah.
I personally think that this is going to be the standard coming up
Yeah, for sure.
within the
I'm all
next
for
5
it.
years.
I'm all for it, man. CTE is no joke.
Yeah, I
Concussions
am
are no
too.
joke. Can't tell you how many times I've been playing fantasy and I wasn't watching a game, and all of a sudden Chris Olave has got his third concussion of the season, and I'm like, okay, perfect. Yeah, no, concussions are no joke, man. I'm all for it. I don't care that it looks stupid or soft. Safety is the biggest thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't look that weird. I mean,
No, it didn't.
I mean, he looked like the fathead poster, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay. Safety
You
wise,
can't
it's
can't
good.
fault a guy for just trying to be safe and make sure he could always provide for his family. You can't fault a guy for doing that.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Not
You know
not
what
at
I
all.
mean? It's like, oh, I'm not going to wear work gloves at work because I don't want to look soft in front of the guys. I'll be damned. I'm wearing the hell out of the work gloves because I like my hands.
Right.
You
The
know what I
following
mean?
day, you come with 8 fingers, and you're like,
Yeah.
so wear the gloves. Yeah,
Right,
100%.
right.
You better wear
Absolutely.
the work gloves being a plumber now.
Already bought
Definitely
a pair. Already
do.
bought a pair.
Don't eat finger sandwiches. Don't do
Yep.
it.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look that bad at all. I mean, just looked it up.
Oh yeah, you're looking at it. We can post a picture of it
Yeah.
too on our Twitter. I'll
Yeah.
post that later.
Yeah, I mean, up close, obviously you're gonna notice the difference, but like these farther
Right.
back shots, like if you're sitting in the
No.
stands, you
Yeah.
may not notice it at all.
But
Right.
with that being said, I've also heard some takes on why don't they just build that into the helmet to begin with? Instead of strapping something on top. And I was like, well, I agree, but at the same time, I'm like, how would that look? How would that work?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a much more scientific answer that someone could give you, but
Yeah, true.
it's probably got something to do with, delaying the impact of something is always going to help prevent injuries.
Actually, yeah, I just thought of it. Think of it like a screen protector on your phone.
A screen protector, like the crumple zone of a car, kind of.
Yeah, right.
So
you want that to crack before your actual big screen on your phone to crack. That makes it
exactly, yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting that we finally got someone to break through and wear the Guardian cap in game.
Yeah.
But I think that's it for news. Do you guys have anything else before we move on to the fantasy football outlook for next year?
Don't.
I'm good.
All right, cool. Here we go. Here's the 2024 fantasy football outlook. Now, I will preface this. We are not professionals in this, right? We just have a lot of fantasy years under our belts.
Yeah, I've won a lot of leagues, though, in my only 2 years that I've been doing it. So I'm on a Patrick Mahomes type run.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, just saying, man, Patrick Mahomes type run, man.
Do you have Patrick Mahomes in our league together?
Hey, Nard, you should know the answer to that.
That's weird.
Yeah, weird.
Real weird.
It's kind of funny. I say the guy's name and then you draft him. You know what I mean? It's almost like you did that out of spite.
I mean, maybe.
And the same thing with one
also
of my
not a bad pick though either.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Anyway, so we're just going to go over, if you never played fantasy before, we're going to kind of give a little bit of a rundown of the types of leagues that there are, at least the two popular ones. There's dynasty leagues, and then there's redraft leagues. So you may be asking yourself, what does a dynasty league mean? Redraft is pretty self-explanatory. That is the league where you draft a new team every year. So you get a roster of, it's usually about 14 to 17 players. You're able to switch out those rosters to create the best team going forward into the week. You gain points based on the performance of the players that week. And then you are going up head-to-head against someone else who's done the same thing. So the draft is held before the league year. It's usually a snake draft, so you'll have 12 guys or 8 to 12 people going to draft. A snake draft means it starts at number 1, goes to pick 12, goes back to pick 13, then goes to pick 24 if it's a 12-person league.
Yep.
So it kind of makes a serpentine motion throughout the draft board. Now, dynasty leagues are a little different, however. There's a large draft at the beginning. There's usually about 26 roster spots for a dynasty league. This is a team you will keep throughout the years. You're treating it like you're the actual general manager of a football team. Now, offensive and defensive linemen are eliminated. You will have just skill positions and usually a individual defensive player that you'll have on your team. And you will, again, draft, try and roster the best team, and then go head-to-head with your league mates during the year. So there's a lot of different strategies you can have with that. So redraft leagues, age doesn't really matter. Dynasty leagues, age does matter. There's a lot more trade capital in dynasty leagues in terms of draft picks, prospects that you could have, guys that are unproven, but, guys that we like, fantasy sleepers, fantasy flyers, and we'll get into some of the guys that we like as well as some fantasy sleepers and flyers. So sleepers and flyers do apply to both sleepers apply to dynasty and redraft leagues. Flyers apply to just dynasty leagues. Does that make sense? You guys following me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So am I leaving anything out that you guys can think of?
Nah.
Before we jump into our
stuff.
No.
Okay. All right. So what we've done is we have done some show prep here, and we have found some guys that we like for 2024. These are guys that are not going to be, like the upper echelon of guys like your Christian McCaffreys or your Jahmyr Gibbs or your Justin Jeffersons or anything like that. But these are guys that we think could really take a step forward this year and be dudes that could help you win your league. So Fish, why don't you start us off with one of your guys? that you like for 2024?
So I got a few guys. There's a lot of likes out there, but there's a couple that come into mind, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out there. We're going to go ahead and start off with Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts finally has a quarterback who they just traded for, paid a shit ton of money for, and then drafted a guy that's like 98 behind him. So Kyle Pitts has the athletic capabilities, the correct build. He is a little weaker on blocking, but he wasn't known for blocking in college. Kyle Pitts is not being drafted early enough. I think if the top 3, top 5 tight ends go up there, you could still get him in the bottom of your leagues. And he's got crazy high upside potential, especially with Kirk Cuddy back there, throwing all kinds of bombs. He loves to find receivers, loves to find tight ends. Kyle Pitts is one of my dudes we like going into this year. Falcons defense is decent, but I think that with Bijan being there, opening up the pass game that way as well, that Kirk Cousins is essentially going to replicate what he did with Minnesota, and just constantly throw to the tight end over the seams. And I think that Kyle Pitts will have his catches, and he'll finally have more than what it seems like 2 touchdowns in the last 3 years. So that's one of my guys that I like going into this upcoming season.
I agree with that. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah.
The big thing you said there was he's finally going to have a quarterback in Kirk Cousins. That does lead into one of my guys that I've also picked that kind of goes along with that thinking there, and that is Drake London for the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London was drafted very high, but he's never really had a guy to throw to him. He's had a mix between Mariota, Heineke, and Desmond Ridder across his 2 years, and he's averaged 100 targets in both of those 2 years. I think he's the clear number 1 option in Atlanta, and he's going to, I think, just really blossom this year coming up.
Yep.
He's going in the 4th round in 12-team leagues right now, but I think he really has all the opportunity to be, one of those top 7 receivers that finish the league this year. And getting that type of player in the 4th round is a huge steal. And honestly, I don't see any cons for Drake London this year. I'm really excited to see what he does with Kirk Cousins. Kirk really likes to get the best out of that number 1 receiver. You saw it in Minnesota with Justin Jefferson. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, he will definitely throw to Kyle Pitts more, I believe, but I think Drake London's going to get the bulk of the target share there. So
I agree. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is really relying on that receiver 1 sometimes. As long as Drake London fills the shoes that was laid in front of him, I think he'll be perfectly fine. Honestly.
I agree.
But it's kind of hard to go from Justin Jefferson to Drake London. You can't really compare those two. I don't think they're even close to each other. But still, I think Drake London still takes a massive leap forward as far as probably target share and even fantasy points and just play in general. I think we have a good year.
Absolutely.
I mean, Drake London only has 6 touchdowns in his entire career.
Yeah.
And being the size he is, I mean, I believe he's over 6'3". He's a big target. So it's something similar with Kyle Pitts. I mean, the touchdowns just didn't happen for the Falcons the last couple of years. Now, Bijan's going to really open that up. It's going to open the passing game up. So I think that's going to be something that both Fish and I can rely on for our picks this year.
Mm-hmm.
Zoltowski, what about you?
Yeah, so I'll go off the Kyle Pitts pick by Fish, go with another tight end. Sam Laporta picked him up fairly late last year. Rookie tight end out of Iowa, plays for the Lions. Got to pick one of my team's players, but he top-rated tight end in fantasy last year. Over 800 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns as a rookie. He can block, he can catch the ball, he gets open. He's just a solid pick. I mean, I ran 2 tight ends last year a lot. And he produced a ton for me. And I think he's, just getting started. That Lions offense is really starting to come in its own. You got Gibbs in the backfield with Montgomery, so you have a good running game that you have to stay, honest to. So a lot of play action possibilities there, and tight ends can come into play on play action a lot. So excited to see what he does this year.
You guys have the same offensive coordinator up there this year?
Yeah, I believe we do. I think I don't think we lost any coaches. Right? Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
he's still there.
He's a guru. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him in the offseason getting a head coaching job, so I'm sure Dan Campbell's very happy he's remaining there for sure.
Yeah, I remember kind of nervous. I think it was him and our OC and our DC were both kind of up on the block, like possibly getting new jobs, and I think they both decided to stay just because they love what Campbell's doing. They love the the atmosphere he's creating there. Grit.
Grit, yeah. It's gritted out, dude.
Yeah, great.
It's grit, or bite your kneecaps off. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, man. I'm riding that train.
Yeah, Laporta was a lot of fun to watch last year, and I think you're right. I think he continues that this year coming up. So,
yep,
especially with Ben Johnson still being there.
Yeah,
Mason
and Goff is solid. So, yep,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Mason, who do you have?
I'll take a different approach from everybody else. I'm going to go with the rookie. I know he doesn't have a next step to take, but the thing is, I'm going to have to go with Caleb Williams here. A lot of guys, you got your top quarterbacks. A lot of guys take those pretty quick. Caleb Williams, I don't know. I don't know if he's really there. He hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet. But, I mean, on his debut alone, he went 4 for 7. 95 yards. This is just preseason, obviously, so we got a little sample size. No touchdowns, but he had a passer rating of 101.8. Not bad. I think with the weapons that he has thrown in front of him, I think there's a debate for him being a top 8, top 10 fantasy quarterback this year, easily.
That's a bold claim, Cotton.
Hey, just saying. Top 8, top 10 fantasy.
Yeah, jeez.
If you were to ever take a rookie quarterback and place him in a situation, this is the one to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Mean, he's got options on options to throw the ball. He's got a running game. I'm pretty sure the offensive line in Chicago is not horrible. I have never really looked that far into their offensive line, but yeah, I mean, if he's the real deal, and I've watched the first episode of Hard Knocks, the second one I haven't seen yet, but following Caleb a little bit, they seem to be more than all in on him. So
yeah, I mean, just watching him, he was really, I don't know, he made some crazy throws, he made some mistakes, some bad reads, but he has weapons on weapons now. That Bears team has no excuse. Maybe their first year while Caleb finds his grounding, but I mean, yeah, that Bears team has no excuse. But fantasy wise, I'm telling you, he's going to be a top 8 to 10 quarterback. I mean, the only guys above him, you got your Josh Allen, Mahomes, the Hurts, Kyler Murray if he's healthy all year, Lamar, Richardson, Stroud, Burrow. Who's next? With the weapons, I think Caleb Williams takes that spot.
So Caleb is getting a lot of comparisons just out of freak ability to Patrick Mahomes.
That's right. That's right.
Now, how I personally think, and I think that Patrick Mahomes sitting out a year did wonders for him, sitting behind Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to hamper Caleb at all? Being thrust right into a season.
Nah.
I mean, the game is so much quicker, so much faster. All those guys were the best players at their colleges.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a learning curve for him, I think.
No, it'll be a learning curve, but I think he'll be fine because they have really set him up to be in the position to be okay. You look at the Bryce Young situation. they just drafted that man just to draft him, it feels like. They didn't set him up at all. They gave him... What'd they give him?
Who was the Steelers' number one last year? Then they gave it to him. Was it
Deontay Johnson? Oh, my.
Yeah,
Deontay Johnson?
He's there freshly this year.
Oh, my gosh. If Deontay Johnson's your wide receiver one, you got a problem.
He's got Adam Thielen. What more do you want?
Yeah, he's going out there with a walker and a cane.
He doesn't have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and potentially Roma Doomsday. How do you even say his name? I don't know. I think that guy would be really good too.
I picked him up.
I think that guy would be really good too. Especially because Caleb Williams is the only reason why he got drafted. I mean, he was going to get drafted, but to the Bears, in my opinion, because they said Caleb Williams really wanted him. But I think he doesn't take a step up. Obviously, he's a rookie. But I think he takes a big enough step to set himself up to continue to go up. Now, will he have a C.J. Stroud-like season? That's going to be hard to replicate. C.J. Stroud did it. He got thrown into the fire, and look at him. He's just fine. And he had weapons just like Caleb Williams has weapons. So, I don't know. It's going to be tough. We just kind of got to play it out.
It'll definitely be interesting to see. I look forward to watching, all that play out.
Right. I'm just saying, if your quarterback room is not good in the fantasy world anyway, Caleb Williams, if he's available, at least try to pick him up. Because if he goes good, you keep him. If not, you got a little bit of trade bait. You know what I mean? For another guy who doesn't have a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
As a Lions fan, I hope you're wrong, but as a football fan, I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him come and ball out.
Right.
I drafted him a couple places this year, so probably good. I tell the audience here I'm in about 8 fantasy leagues. About 5 of them are dynasties. Is that about right, Fish? You're in just about H1 with me.
Yeah, I'm about 8 as well. I think we have 7.
Do we have 7?
No, it's about 6 or 7 dynasties. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's a lot of fun, honestly. If you enjoy fantasy, then
I just started another league this year with my family, so I'm in the one with you guys, our dynasty, and I got another one started with sister, brother-in-law, the wife, and 2 other friends, and might turn that into a dynasty as well.
Yeah, I'm only in 2 right now. You guys' and then my one that I've been in for a couple of years now. I just don't want to ruin too many people's leagues. I want to give other people chances too.
Gee, God.
Oh, there's unlimited amount of leagues out there, man.
Yeah, I just don't want to win them all is the thing,
Oh, yeah. Is that what you're going after?
I don't want people to be like, oh, I don't want to play fantasy. There's too many sweats, because I'm kind of one of those sweats. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, What'd you finish last year?
Second, actually. What'd you finish last year?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm in so many leagues.
I won first in my other one, my big money league. I won that one. I have the ring. I'm actually looking at it on my bedside table right now. It's a 2023 fantasy champion ring. It's huge. It's huge. Just know. I won that.
It's weird. Nut. How many times have my name been on that big money league trophy that we have? Is it 3?
We're not gonna ever win anything.
Hey, like I said, I'm on a Patrick Mahomes run, man. I'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
You want to try dunking again and pull your hamstring?
I will, but I'll stretch before, and I bet you I can dunk.
Not enough stretching. Got it.
Maybe, man. I'm just trying to relive my glory days, man. That's all.
Yeah, you and me both.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got for my kind of guys to look out for. Dudes we like,
I think, Fish, you have one more, and then I have one more as well that I'll talk about here.
Yeah, I got a couple more. I'm looking at our list here. I think we got some good solid picks. Again, this is just a name that, as of last year, he only had 3 top finishes, played every game, in a position where he's got a big chip on his shoulder. Again, one of the situations where, on paper, he has a better quarterback than what he's had in the past, and that man is George Pickens. I think that man, outside of small hands, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph throwing to him. I think now, hopefully, Russ kind of gets back into his Seahawk era and does really good things there. Plus, they also picked up Justin Fields, who
Russell Wilson gets benched week 8.
I kind of hoping for it fantasy wise, to be honest, but I think he'll get his numbers up. I'm looking here, and there's been countless games, about 14 of them where he's had less than 5 targets, less than 5 receptions. And knowing how big that man is at 6'3", with the speed that he has and the cuts, he's a big man to get the ball up top. I know that he didn't score, again, one of the situations where he didn't have 1,000 touchdowns. He only had 5 last year, a good amount of yardage. But when he pops off, when he's angry and he's irritated, that man can do some damage. Again, one of those situations where you're going to get him in either the 3rd to 6th round, I've seen. One of those late flyers on, it's a good high ceiling to go grab. He'll get his points now, especially if Justin Fields comes in there at any time. We know he can run. He's going to open up that game there. Plus, they also just drafted another receiver in Wilson, where not everyone's going to triple team George Pickens now. They're going to actually have to spread the ball out. Najee looked good towards the end of the year. He's coming up on a contract. There's been trade talks with him. He has not lived up to his potential. Plus, they have Warren as well, who that man exploded.
Yeah, man,
he's
nice.
like a little meatball out there. That guy is tough to bring down. So I think that George Pickens is a good safe pick with a good high ceiling on that. Again, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He hasn't produced really last year. The year before, he did decently. But I think that's one guy that should definitely have some eyes on and being looked at there. And then my last guy is a tough handcuff. He's in a perfect position with a high power offense. Outside of the holdouts, theoretically, if everybody comes back in, we should be good. I am not sold on Zach Moss. I'm picking up Chase Brown. Chase Brown has done amazing things so far in camp. Last year, when he was in, he had flash in the pans, and looked really good that way too. I think ultimately, even though they did pay Zach Moss, I think Chase Brown's going to be the go-to guy eventually going into next year. Maybe not starting off, but he'll get his touches. He's actually been working out with first team most of the time, outside of Zach Moss as well. So I think eventually Chase Brown takes the reins. That offense, again, with Joe Burrow there, I hate to say it, he's done fairly well. He just got paid last year as well. He's had a down year. Hopefully now he's fully healthy. Chase comes back, from the holdout. T. Higgins is back. That team should be ready for a high-power offense. I think Chase Brown's in the perfect position to eat up a lot of the carries. We know that Zach Moss is going to catch a lot out of the back, but Chase Brown also showed that he could also receive out of the backfield as well. So my pick would be Chase Brown. I like the guy. I have him in a shit ton of fantasy leagues. I'm pretty sold on him going forward. So really looking forward to see what he could do with the ball in his hands with a full workload. So Nutter, who do you have left for the dudes that you like?
I just wanted to piggyback off that last pick. I think that's a great one. Pickens, I hate to say it as a Browns fan, he's going to have his success no matter what quarterback's there. Those guys are both so far and above better than Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. It's not even a fair comparison, but Chase Brown, I agree with you completely. That guy, there's guys that you trust, they're the not sexy picks. Like Zach Moss is not what you would call a sexy pick, but
right.
Chase Brown, just you watch him play, he's kind of just that guy, He passes the eye test. He plays hard every time he gets out there. So that's something that I'm sure the Bengals have unfortunately seen, and I'm sure he'll get a lot more playing time this year coming up.
I agree. I think they split snaps at first, and then Chase Brown kind of runs away with the RB1, early mid-season.
Yeah, I don't think you're too far off there. They can't be paying Zach Moss that much. He's kind of a journeyman when it comes to running backs.
Right.
I keep emailing the Bengals to just make sure that they put Chase Brown in, not for fantasy purposes, but just for the excitement of a player to get his chance. So
they don't use email. They do strictly fax and telegram there.
Oh, that makes sense with the coat hanger
that's how they
and their new pants, right? That they hung up on a white wall
and their quote unquote outdoor practice facility,
or the mail, because they got that one postman guy with the outfits. Like, come on, baby, look at these.
Oh yeah, I know the TikTok guy.
Yeah, the TikTok guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's the actual mailman. I had no idea.
I'm gonna bite my tongue before I piss our Bengals fans off.
Yeah, there goes the viewership.
Love you guys. Anyways,
Yeah.
My second pick. I had 4 names here, but I'm only gonna go with 2. It's unfortunately one of those not sexy picks again, but I think he's going not sexy picks.
Say sexy again.
I don't want to.
Oh, come on, do it for the viewership.
Come on, man.
One of those not sexy picks here.
Oof, gave me chills.
Golly.
This man's name, he's another journeyman. He actually played with Zach Moss in Buffalo for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Singletary, I think, is a guy that could really help you win games. I think he could be a really good running back 2 or a flex play this year coming up. The reason being he's had somewhat success everywhere he's been. I know there's a lot of snaps to fill with Saquon leaving. Brian Dable specifically requested Devin Singletary to come in. He played for him in Buffalo, so he's familiar with the system. Dable really liked to run Singletary when he was in Buffalo. And there's been a lot of conversation on the Giants really improving their offensive line this past year. They signed a couple vets, John Runyon and Greg Van Rotten, and then they also signed Jermaine Illuminor, I think is his name. He was a very, very good run blocker on the Raiders last year. So they have completely got 3 new starters on their offensive line, 2 guards, and then Illuminor was actually a guard, but he's a right tackle now. And then they also have Andrew Thomas coming back, their stud number 4 overall pick from last year. So he's a very, very good left tackle. Now the con for Devin Singletary is he is undersized. And even though there's not a lot of competition in the backfield right now, there's a lot of youth behind him there. And I mean, you never know when somebody's just going to pop off. I very much remember, Carlos Hyde having a very good year with the Browns. And then all of a sudden this kid named Nick Chubb comes in for a play, takes the ball, runs all the way down the field for a touchdown. He comes in for another breather throughout the game, takes the ball, runs it all the way down the field for a touchdown. I think he had 3 carries for over 100 yards and 2 TDs. And I think, if I remember right, Carlos Hyde was kicked off the team very shortly after that.
Yeah, that's another one I want to get your opinion on, Nard.
So, what?
The Nick Chubb situation. Did they just throw him back into the Wolves, make him the workhorse again after what happened? Or are they going to run with Ford for a little bit and split snaps?
They're going to wait till he is 100% back. He's 100% healthy. He's ready to take contact. There's been a lot of videos circulating of him not only squatting hundreds of pounds, but which my stomach goes into my ass every time I watch him do something like that with that knee. But he'll do that. There's a lot of videos of him, jumping off that left leg over a cone, over a barrier, something like that, holding a ball. I mean, that's all great. That's all fun and dandy, but that's not football condition. I'm sorry to say.
Nope.
He can do all that, all the tricks, everything like that until he's ready to take a hit or give a hit.
Right.
It's going to take him a little bit to get back out there. And I really think that the Browns have done a good job in solidifying that backfield until he comes back.
Yep.
They signed Devonta Foreman, who did unfortunately get taken away in a stretcher the other day, but it was more precautionary than anything. They also have Ford still, and they did sign Nyheim Hines
they did
over the offseason. So I think they're kind of just making sure that the backfield's going to stay, a Cleveland Browns backfield until that bell cow Chubb gets back.
So what you're saying is a mid to late round draft pick, take the chance, ride him towards the end.
I would absolutely take the chance in a redraft league on Chubb.
Take the chance, wait for him to get healthy towards the end.
You could possibly even trade for him in Dynasty, but just be careful on what you give up because he is getting up there in age.
Yep.
All right, so those were the dudes we like for 2024. We did want to get into, the sleepers, which are later round guys you can get in redraft leagues and in flyers, which are guys we think deserve a roster spot on your really deep dynasty leagues. These are the flyers are normally younger guys that could prove themselves. So for me personally, I'm going to start there. And the flyer I took is a guy by the name of Cedric Tillman. Now, this could be a little bit of bias. He is a Cleveland Brown, but he is a second-year receiver.
There.
He's a second-year receiver out of Tennessee. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. He is the fourth wide receiver on the depth chart right now, but he could usurp Elijah Moore for the wide receiver 3 throughout the year. And the reason I really believe in him is, we just talked about Chubb being hurt. The Browns' offense is changing this year. It's going to be a lot different. It's going to be, something that I'm not used to, something that a lot of the Cleveland fan base is not used to. There's not going to be a lot of running, per se. There's going to be a lot more airing it out, passing. That's why you bring in a guy like Jerry Jeudy. That's why you bring in a guy like Ken Dorsey. That's going to help get Deshaun. Ken Dorsey's our new offensive coordinator. He's going to help get Deshaun, to that, hopefully back to that Houston form he was in before all of the horrible things happened. But yeah, I believe he could be a guy that could really take a step up, if not this year, maybe in a couple years. There's a lot of belief that Amari's last year in Cleveland is this year, which makes a lot of the fan base sad, but business is business. That's another reason why they brought Jeudy in, but somebody else has to step up and be that wide receiver 2, 3 there. So the last thing I'll say is he had 2 weeks below 70% snap percentage after week 9 last year, and 2 of those weeks were in the 90%. So he did see a lot of the field last year when there were injuries and they needed some guys to fill in. So I think Tillman is a great stash, a great flyer you can keep on your dynasty bench.
Mm-hmm.
And I will kick it to Mason. What do you have for a flyer this year?
My flyer is going to be a guy right now. We're talking about just a dynasty league. I'm going to have to say Keaton Mitchell. Guy showed a lot of promise when he was healthy. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in week 15. But hey, he was showing insane promise. His first game, 9 carries for 138 and a touchdown. His season stats, he ended with 47 carries, 396 yards with 2 touchdowns. Now, you may say he's a Ravens running back. They just got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's 30 years old.
A lot of carries under his belt.
Yeah, running backs don't last that long. The wheels will fall off soon, unfortunately. Keaton Mitchell, this is only his second year. His splits are actually faster than Devin. I don't even know how to say his name. I don't want to be embarrassed. Devin Achane, whatever. So he's just as fast as Devin Achane, just as explosive. So he's going to give you those big plays. I don't think he's a bell cow quite yet, but I think eventually, once that Derrick Henry spot is kind of open and Keaton Mitchell kind of gets his time to shine, I think he's going to be a good guy just for the future. He just showed a lot of promise within his little short spans of playing. I mean, he averaged 8.4 yards a carry last season, and he had 47 carries. That's crazy. It's not bad. That's kind of who I'm leaning for my flyer. Someone I kind of want to pick up and hold on to in a dynasty league just to see how he goes. If not, cool. Drop him. Trade him. Whatever you got to do.
No, I think that's a great pick. I mean, Mitchell was very, very explosive last year, so I agree with you there. Yeah. He's going to be. I mean, if Henry comes back to form and Keaton comes back to form, that could be, the thunder and the lightning that the Titans used to have.
Right.
Lindell White and CJ2K there. So
Yep,
that could be an interesting duo there. Fish, what about you? I saw your pick, and I'm a little intrigued to hear what you have to say on this guy.
So for a flyer for me, right? He was just drafted last year to a great team, throwing team, good quarterback. A lot of hype around him. His stature wise, 22, 6'4", 215. Incredible highlights in college. Was all around. People were like, "Oh, this guy's going to be the next Calvin Johnson type thing." Did not have the best of season. I'm talking about Quentin Johnston. This guy only had, out of the 67 targets that he had, he caught 38 of them, which is about 57%. I'm taking a flyer on him and possibly trading for him late or picking him up late, just for the sheer fact that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are no longer there. Their leading receiver as of right now is Ladd McConkey, who Ladd McConkey will do well, but there's got to be another guy in there. I'm not a big Josh Palmer guy. I think he had a couple good flashes in the pans. He did well last year, and they also have DJ Shark, who, again, one of those things like, he's going to be the W3. To me, it just makes the most sense. Again, another high ceiling possibility. You can get him cheap-ish and take that flyer. The next, he could pop off. Justin Hubbard really loves throwing down the field. They have a good running game again. It seems like they drafted that rookie there, so that should help open up the passing game as well. I think that there's been so much negativity on this guy. We've seen the reports of, Ladd's going to take this, and Johnson's not even in the picture out of the 37 plays. And then the following week, now we're going to try and focus on him. So I think there's a lot of ups and downs with him. They're messing with his confidence. I think he's going to take that going into this season and say, okay, you know what? The hell with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and do what I did in college. I think this is a perfect position for him where they're going to end up throwing the ball a lot. I think that he could, if he's not the wide receiver 1, he's not going to have that CB1 on him. He could have the CB2 or slot or corner or anything like that, that he should, on paper and in theory, succeed there. I think that he just really needs to shine. I think he had his early sophomore slump as a freshman. I think he hits the ground running this year. I'm picking him up. I'm trying to trade for him late for maybe a third-round pick or anything like that, or some other bench players. In a dynasty league, I'm holding on to him in the hopes that he does pop off. Everything there shows stats-wise, height, weight, that he could be the number one guy there with a quarterback who loves to throw deep balls, who has worked with Keenan Allen and other big guys there as well, with Mike Williams too. So with both of them gone, to me, it just makes the most sense. Who's going to step up? I don't trust Palmer, and nor do I trust CJ Shark. So if Ladd McConkey's as good as he is and he takes the number 1, having a 6'4", 210 guy at wide receiver 2, not a bad option. Especially if, their defense is as good as they say. Cool, great. If they do play behind the ball, which they did a lot of part of last season, especially in a lot of those closer games, they're going to have to throw it. We saw what Keenan Allen can do even when he was older. Now that everybody's gone, there's only one guy that needs to step up. I think a lot of the negativity is kind of affecting him now. I think he comes out with a chip on his shoulder. I've said this throughout this whole podcast. A lot of people with a lot of chips on their shoulders. He is one of my guys that I am targeting late to pick up and or trading for. That's my reason why. That's my flyer.
I agree. He had really good mentorship his first year, too. He was under Keenan Allen. That's a borderline Hall of Famer right there.
True. And Mike Williams when he wasn't tearing his legs.
Right.
So
I think he had good mentor. I think he's going to show promise. He just has to kind of get in. I think they just got to figure out what the hell he should do in that system. And I think who they had before, he didn't really fit in. But I agree. He could take a step to a wide receiver 1 or a dominant wide receiver 2, because now they could figure out what could do with them.
Well, you got to look at Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Both of those guys are going to take the majority of the share targets. Right. Again, both of them gone. That's all that share target kind of opens up. Right. You can't force feed Ladd McConkey 400 balls. So that's just what I'm thinking. No, I know that you said it was an interesting pick. What are your thoughts on it?
It's interesting because I agree with you 100%. I think Quentin Johnston has what they call a case of the yips. I think he had it all last year. And hopefully he breaks through that this year. I mean, he was very talented at TCU. He was drafted 23rd overall or 21st overall in 2023. And you're right, they were a very pass-heavy offense. I'm sure they still will be under Harbaugh. But I mean, if there was ever a player's coach to get a player out of, any sort of yips that they may be having, it's Jim Harbaugh. So, I agree with you. I would love to target him, but unfortunately, we're in a lot of the same leagues, so there's a lot of cross trading that goes on between me and you. A lot of times, you and I are the two guys that are trying to pick people up, and we're kind of battling with our free agency acquisition bucks there. So, I think you're right on the head there. I think he's gonna step up and be, a good player this year. So, Zoltowski, what about you?
Yeah, so I got a different pick here. Taysom Hill for the Saints, listed as a tight end, but he's really a utility guy. Had a lot of production last year out of the Wildcat as quarterback. Saints just got a new offensive coordinator, so his role could change. They're saying he could play everything from fullback to tight end to quarterback. The 5 different positions they're listing for him. And Juwan Johnson's got a foot injury right now, so he can step more into that leading target role there. And I mean, too, it's just kind of a fun pick there. How many utility guys are there in the NFL? But he's only projected about 7 points a game now. He had multiple 12, 13. He had a 33-point game last year. So, a lot of upside there. He's pretty cheap. I think I picked him up for nothing. Kind of flies under the radar, but he's ranked on Sleeper at tight end number 12. So I think he'd be a good acquisition. Hold on to, see what they do with their new scheme. And if they start really using him, it's just a win-win for you.
That's a good thought too. He's listed in most of our dynasty leagues as a tight end, but he passes,
actually his and ours is he's tight end and quarterback, so he's under 2.
He's got 2 different listings, but the utility there. What you're saying is, it's huge. If you start him at tight end and he does line up in the Wildcat and say he throws a touchdown and he runs in a touchdown, that's more points than any of the other tight ends are going to get that whole week. So I think that's a good pick there. Taysom he's a little on the older side. He's 33, but I don't think he's shown any signs of slowing down, especially not if they're
still
saying he could play 5 different positions this year. Yeah. So
I think it's a good pick. I'm just a big Taysom Hill hater. I had Alvin Kamara in my big money league. And Taysom Hill took a bunch of the goal line touches away, and that's why I don't like Taysom Hill. But I think it's a good pick.
Did you not win that? Did you not win that league?
I did win that league, but I could have won it by much more. I could have put a more dominant performance every week if Taysom Hill didn't.
Oh, okay, got it.
Destroyed Alvin Kamara's touches in the goal line.
So you're just proving my point, man. So it's just a great pick. Right,
I know.
there.
That's what I said. I said it's a great pick. I'm just a Taysom Hill hater because of that. And I'm sure anyone who's ever picked up Alvin Kamara can agree with me.
No, I've been an Alvin Kamara manager before, and there's a lot of players that cut into any type of running he does at the goal line. So yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there. Yeah. If it's not Mark Ingram, it's somebody else, or it's Taysom Hill, or it's running back number 3. It's yeah. I just don't like to give the guy the ball at the end zone or at the goal line. So. All right, so next we'll go into our sleeper picks. This is the last pick we have for these, kinds of players that stand out to us for the year. Sleepers, like I said, these are guys that you're going to want to get on your redraft team. So those smaller drafts, a lot of these guys could be what they call handcuff players. So I see Fish has maybe one here that if a big name running back goes down, this guy becomes the person that will get all the carries at that point. So, Fish, why don't you take it away with your pick here, and we can go ahead and hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. So, much as Nutter said, sleepers are going to ride your bench in hopes, not hopes, that possibly that the main running back or main receiver, whoever goes down. It's been a common trend with this guy as an RB1 who has constantly been injured. When he does play, he balls out, but he is injured about 25% of the time, missing 4 multiple games. Is also aging this year in a pretty decent offense that kind of looks like they're reawakening. My pick as a sleeper / handcuff, and I tried to get him in every league I could, is Trey Benson. Outside of the multiple ligament tear he had in college, again, stats-wise, this man could potentially be the next Barkley even. The guy's 6'1", 223, and then runs a 4.3 40 or 4.3 940. Being that big and that explosive, seen a lot of things in training camp already that he's done really well. He had a preseason game, had some touches, ran some good yards. He's one of those dynamic backs where he can receive out of the backfield, bust it through the gap, or go all the way around to the sideline and pop up using that speed. This is one guy that I'm targeting in every league, trying to trade for. Unfortunately, a lot of leagues that we're in, these guys are also smart enough. They also see that same potential. James Conner is one of those guys that, again, when he's on the field, he's dynamic. He runs hard. He runs up the middle, going through the gaps, running people open or over. But he's one of those ones where if he goes down, it's not like, oh, I pulled my hamstring. He's going down for multiple games, which then in terms, Trey Benson will then slide in there. I think with Murray being in there at quarterback, I think he did really well last year. Nobody really spoke about him. I don't think he's really playing Call of Duty that much anymore. So he actually can focus on the playbooks and learning the offense. I think he had his fun there. Last year, he did run it a lot. He did get hurt a little bit, but his accuracy's gotten a lot better. They got good receivers there. The offensive line's pretty decent as well. I think it just opens up the possibilities of Trey Benson really popping off and using that size and speed to be able to seize the gaps, go through them, and then take it to the house. So he's one of my sleepers. Very, very good chance that he sees the field this year. I also think that he might be the future for the Cardinals as well. Again, Connor's getting old. They're probably going to try and phase him out, especially if he gets hurt again for a long-term injury. Benson's the guy. There's not much competition behind him. So outside of the only worry that he had that bad ligament tear in college, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down at all. So my sleeper, and it's a high pick sleeper, especially in dynasties, would be Trey Benson.
I think it's a really good pick. Rookie running backs are always, interesting. They tend to play very well up to a point. So it's going to be interesting to see what Trey Benson does there. And you're right about James Conner. He does get injured quite a bit. So I think that's a great pick there for a sleeper pick. Zoltowski, you also have a rookie running back as your sleeper pick. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your guy?
I do. My sleeper is going to be Blake Corum for the Rams. Michigan man here. Had a great career at Michigan. Broke the rushing touchdown record. Had 68 TDs, over 4,000 yards from scrimmage. Dude's got great vision. I mean, he'll find a hole and he'll hit that hole. There's been pictures on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, where he's on the sideline taking notes. He's doing what he needs to do to get better at this level. And Kyren, he was injury prone last year. He was on and off all year. So I think Blake's going to come in, probably be the short yardage guy at first, and try to keep Kyren healthy. But if he goes down, I think Blake's going to come in and he's going to fill that spot, and I think he's just going to kind of explode. Like I said, great vision. Not the biggest guy, not the fastest, but I mean, if you're smart, that helps a ton too. If you can look and see and find that hole, you're breaking through and you're making plays.
I'll say it. He's built like a brick shit house.
I mean, like a brick shit house.
He's short, but he is a strong individual. Like the videos that came out of Michigan about him lifting, I think he set the bar for the bench press this year for running backs. Multiple videos of him squatting over 500 pounds. So he is just he's a strong dude. And I think you're right. I think he'll get quite a bit of playing time there.
Yep, you are right. He had 27 at 225, which was the best out of all running backs. I mean, he's, like I said, he's 5'8", 205. But man, 27 at 225, that's impressive.
I mean, what was the next guy? Like, I feel like that's way more than what running backs normally go when it comes to bench press.
I'm not sure.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, at the NFL Combine, strength is tested by how many times you can bench press 225 pounds consecutively. Yep. So I think the record altogether is from Larry Allen, and it was like 40-something times, like 41 times. So, and he was a guard back in the 90s for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
God rest his soul. Yep. He died earlier this year. But, yeah, I feel like 27 is just a lot for a running back.
No joke.
It's just a ton.
Yeah.
Bench running back for this year. Oh no, Braylon Allen was behind him with 26. Marshawn Lloyd with 25.
Okay, so
there was quite a few guys actually that got 20 or higher, but still, like I said, I like the guy. I liked him at Michigan. I like seeing him coming to the NFL now. I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, he's going to be able to be so low and get such a push. It's going to kind of resemble that tush push in Philadelphia, right, Fish?
Which is very successful. We love it.
It is.
It'll be a little different without Jason Kelce, but we'll be fine.
All right, Mason, I see you don't have a rookie or a running back like myself, so why don't you go ahead and tell us who you have as your sleeper for this year?
Well, I don't have to have a rookie or a running back. My sleeper, he's actually a guy who played running back in college, and they kind of switched him to this receiver role here now that he's been in the NFL. On a whole new team with probably the best quarterback he's ever played with in his career. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel. Okay, Curtis Samuel, he's consistent. In the league, since he started, if he's played a full season, he's averaged 600 to 800 yards for the season on just about 60 to 80 receptions, right? He now has a quarterback who could actually throw the ball. He came from Washington. He also is a utility guy, but not a big utility guy, but they do use him in the run game a lot and the screen game. But I think he's just really consistent. Last year, 62 receptions for 613 yards. An average throw, 9.9 yards with 4 touchdowns. And he was a wide receiver 3 in Washington, behind Terry McLaurin and Jawan Dotson. I think now he's with a group of receivers who's kind of younger, all trying to prove themselves. And I think anyone could take that. I don't think he's wide receiver 1. I still think Khalil Shakir at Buffalo is going to be wide receiver 1. He put up a really good season last year. But I think him and Keon Coleman could fight for that wide receiver 2 spot all season with Josh Allen. And in past, Josh Allen loved his wide receivers too. Gabe Davis had a pretty solid stint there in Buffalo. But I just think Curtis Samuel, man, he's up. It's his time to prove that, hey, I'm not just a wide receiver 3 or just a guy who fills in for some passing plays. He has a good quarterback that could actually throw him the ball and move the ball around. That team throws a lot. So I think he got a really good opportunity this year for sure.
No, I like that pick too. I've been a big fan of Curtis Samuel ever since he was at Ohio State. So he did play a lot of running back and receiver there. I definitely agree with you. I think, they're vacating a lot of targets in Buffalo next year with Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis going out. So we will see where those go. And hopefully Curtis Samuel gets some of those for sure.
All right. I don't think he's a wide receiver 1, 2. He's a wide receiver 3, 4 type of guy for fantasy wise. But if you got a couple guys on bye, a couple guys injured, he's a good fill-in until you can make a trade or another free agent pickup or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. So my sleeper is a receiver as well. He's a second-year receiver out of Virginia, and he plays for the Green Bay Packers. His name is Dontavian Wicks. He is very, very fun to watch. He really kind of lit it up last year, especially in the last 4 games of the season. And 1.5 of those, I believe he was out injured. He is the definition of a boom-bust player. He averages 10 yards a target and almost averaged 15 yards per reception last year when he was in. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks that he played in 2023. So I think he got a lot more comfortable with Jordan Love at the end of that year. They just paid Jordan Love there in Green Bay. So I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on leaning into him throwing. I know the first half of last year, they really relied on the run game a lot, but I think they really believe in Jordan, and I think Dontavian Wicks could be a very solid player, especially if there's an opening at receiver. Right now, he's listed as the wide receiver 4 behind Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Romeo Doubs. Those guys are all very, very good, but I mean, like I said, you never hope for an injury, but if an injury happens, this may be a guy that you want to have on your bench as an insurance policy for your sleeper. The one downside to him, keeping him on your bench for just waiting for an injury to happen, is his playing time. He's not going to be a guy that gets on the field a lot. He gets on the field in 4 receiver sets, or when they need a little bit more speed out there and they don't want to throw out one of the bigger receivers. So that is just something to think about there. Okay, so you guys comfortable with what we have there? You want to just jump into the tier list now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir. Get that open.
All right, so for the last... Sorry, let me get this open before I start that. Okay. So on episode 1, we went over the structure of the podcast a little bit, and we did say we were going to close each show out with either a draft or a tier list. Week 1, we did a draft. This week, we're going to do a tier list, and we're going to rank our top, or our NFL quarterbacks for 2024. Now, this tier list does include, rookies and some backups in here, as well as the projected starters for the 2024 season. So let's just all collaborate here, and I'm going to share my... Yeah, make
Got
sure
it.
you pull it up there.
Got
all
it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so the way this tier list is structured, as you'll see, we have quarterback 1, top 5, top 10, decent, mid, ass, backup, and then rookie or unproven. So I think the easiest thing to do here is start with QB1, and I believe we're all going to be on the same page here.
Yeah, it better be.
It is Mason's boy, Patrick Mahomes here.
That's
at number
right.
1.
Hey, doing
There should
that,
be no
but
arguments.
you're not wrong.
And there is no argument on my end there. He's just
He's the best quarterback in the league.
He does things a lot of the other guys don't, and it's just so fun to watch. So that is a guy there. Now we can go about this one of two ways. We can go through, find all the rookies, find all the backups, and put them in their tiers here.
What if we just go down the list?
We can go down the list as well. So the first one here, Marcus Mariota. I'm just going to put him in the backup tier.
Yeah, backup.
I don't think he's going to. Yeah, I don't think he's going to beat out Jaden Daniels. So
no, I don't think he's ass, but I don't know.
He's close to it, though.
Yeah, he's close to it. Yeah. He's close to it. He's just one of those fill-in quarterback, bridge quarterback.
I feel like you need to put ass on the bottom, below backup and rookie.
Yeah, okay, I agree. I think Mariota's a bridge quarterback, like a guy that you sign for a year, hoping to get a high draft pick for a quarterback next year. That's what I think Mariota is.
Yeah, he's a filler.
A filler, correct.
On the right side, you could have just dropped it down, right?
I did not know that, actually. That's a great thing to know for later.
I thought you knew, just he's overextending.
All right, next here we have Justin Herbert himself. So there's a lot of discussion about this guy. I think he's a really good player. I don't know if he's top 5.
I don't think he's top 5. He's borderline. I think he's 6'7".
He's definitely top 10 though.
Yeah, I think he's definitely top 10 too. So
I just don't think he beats Mahomes. I mean, do I got to name the rest? I mean, Mahomes.
No, we'll go down through the list.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you said it's just Mahomes,
Because, bro, no one beats Mahomes, bro. My Lord and Savior.
Do you like Mahomes?
Whoa.
I don't.
I think you like him a little too much.
All right, so Jordan Love, I think he belongs in that top 10 as well.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he took a hit. Yeah.
There's not a lot of tape on, NFL tape, I should say.
He filled a lot of shoes this year, and he filled them pretty nicely, honestly.
He got paid
Green Bay
pretty well for it, too. So.
Green Bay does a good job of developing their quarterbacks. I mean, you look at going from Favre to Rodgers and now Rodgers to Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just something.
Yeah, and I think he gets better even this year, too, honestly. I think he continues to keep going. I don't think he's kind of plateaued yet.
Yep, the Packers have 3 quarterbacks where the Browns have 30, so. Or 40, actually, probably.
Oof.
All right, so the next guy is Drake May. I honestly don't know how to evaluate him. I think we put him in rookie unproven.
100%. We don't even know if he's going to start, initially. Yeah, this Milton guy seems to be doing really well. It could be hype. I don't know, but I think he'll be fine there. But, I mean, now he's got competition from, a 6th rounder. So you never know. Knowing the Patriots track record with that, too, with Mac Jones, is not the greatest. So.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's talk about
Brady areas. Joe Milton?
Tom Brady.
Oh, you're right.
Round 6, pick 199.
Pick 199.
Yeah.
Another Michigan man. Just saying.
Should they do it again? We'll see. Find out next episode. Anyways, next is
Ass.
Is it David Mills? Is that his name?
Yeah. You don't even know his name. Put him in ass.
Yeah, ass.
I mean, really, he's a backup now that CJ Stroud has blossomed brightly on the scene, but I still think when he started, they were 1-10 when he started his rookie year. Ass, in my opinion.
Who's the quarterback with the really long neck? Mike Glennon. That's his brother. Mills is Mike Glennon's brother. Knicks, I think he will start. I don't know if he'll start at the beginning of the year, but I'm going to put him in unproven as well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm not sure. Garoppolo.
Backup.
Ass.
He's a backup, man. I mean, he led him to a Super Bowl. Can he be put in mid?
Yeah. Mason, you could lead that team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, true.
The team
probably could. The 49ers, if you need me, let me know.
I think he's ass, personally.
Ass. He's a pretty boy.
Yeah, he's ass. Yeah, he's ass.
Rudolph, I'm going to go ahead and do that for the team.
No.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, dude.
Well, no, Rudolph did good at the end of the year, though.
Yeah, but he's got a personal vendetta against them, you know?
Yeah.
Did not do good at the end of the year. You're out of your mind.
Look at the Steelers. I don't know.
Blinded by Mahomes.
He's awful.
Yeah. I don't look at any other quarterback but Mahomes.
All right, next on the list is Mitchell Trubisky.
Mid.
I think he's fine going in backup. I mean,
I think so too. Yeah, he's
not
a
going to take over Josh Allen. He's one of those solid backups you can have on your team.
I don't think he's good enough to start for multiple years, but yeah, he's a solid backup if your main guy goes down for sure.
Now, I wanted to do these two together just because who knows who's going to start for them. This is the Las Vegas Raiders quarterbacks, Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell. There's a lot of quarterback controversy here. Mm-hmm. So let's just start with the guy we know a little bit better, Gardner Minshew. I'm comfortable putting him in the mid tier.
Both are backups. Both are backups.
Both are backups.
They're going to pay.
And man, Gardner Minshew didn't do too bad last year.
I think there's even an argument for him to be at the back end of the decent tier.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay, you're getting up there now. You're getting up there. The stash ain't that crazy now.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, I'll put him in mid, and then Aiden O'Connell. I feel like we have to put him in mid as well. I mean, he came in for Garoppolo last year, and he was the quarterback during that kind of revitalization of. Sorry, if I know this isn't videotape, but we keep getting pop up every time I try to move a player.
Not monetized yet, man.
So
pay for premium,
get Aiden O'Connell there next to Gardner Minshew, I think. Next here, this is a guy that has a lot of talk around him. This is Brock Purdy. Is he a system guy? I mean,
nah. I'm gonna say it if you don't mind.
I think we might be on the same page.
Top 10.
Oh, we're not on the same page.
I think he's top 5.
Whoa, that's too much. There's only a certain select few who's top 5.
All right, I'll put him in top 10 for now. We can debate it.
We can debate it, yeah.
Now, where in top 10 do you want to put him?
I think he's behind both those guys.
You think he's behind both of those guys? Okay.
For sure.
I can leave him there. All right, so Sam Darnold, he is going to get the start this year for the Vikings.
JJ just he tore his meniscus. I actually just saw that.
What?
Tore his meniscus.
No way.
He's got to have surgery.
I was excited to watch him.
Meaning, I'm going to go ahead and put JJ down here and rookie unproven while we're talking about him.
Yep.
I think Darnold is probably a guy you can put near Minshew and O'Connell in the mid tier.
I don't know. I think he's on the same tier as Mariota and Trubisky. He's another bridge backup quarterback, a filler.
Yeah, I think they were going to go with JJ until he got hurt.
Yeah.
So you just want to put him in the backup tier? Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
I think he's better than both of those guys, though.
This guy.
I do. I think he's better than Mariota and Trubisky.
Oh no, I agree with you. I was just saying this next guy.
Tommy DeVito.
Oh,
I mean, he is a backup through and through.
100%. Right,
I think he's ass.
That was a fun time watching him and his agent and his family and all that stuff.
I don't think he's good. I think he's ass. His name and his brand really just makes him into the backup tier, in my opinion.
He had a couple games last year where he wasn't horrible.
I guess.
Yeah, remember the team that he plays on. It's not like they had any stellar talent.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, remember what I said earlier in the show, too? Their offensive line was atrocious last year.
Yeah.
They did a lot getting that back.
That's why Saquon did nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Joe Flacco himself, Joe Cool. He is a backup this year. He's going to be behind Anthony Richardson. That, to me, that is a great insurance policy for the Colts.
Yeah, I agree.
As a Browns fan last year, you could see he could still sling the ball.
I think you put him in between Minshew and O'Connell. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I say he's more than a backup. He's mid for sure.
You put him in front.
Yeah.
You put him in front? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right, next we got Jared Goff. We do have a resident Rams fan.
Top 5.
5.
Lions
I think he's top
wild.
10. You got to remember the
he's top
select
10.
few who's top 5.
I think he's top 10, and I think
he's on the edge of being top 5.
I agree. He's right where Herbert and I think he's in between Herbert and Love, in my opinion.
I don't hate that at all. I think that's probably
Because let me just get this clear: are we including QB1 as part of the top 5?
yeah. So one's going to go here, 4 players go here, 5 go
Alright.
here,
Cool,
and then
cool.
the rest fill in.
Cool. That's what I was wondering. All right, cool. Oh, this guy.
Trevor Lawrence. I put him in decent. I mean, he's
I don't-
not. I don't think he's amazing.
Looking at the rest of the list, though, I'd put him in top 10. No, never mind. Nope.
There's only
never
one
mind.
spot left, and I
Change my mind. Yep, one spot left. Change my mind. I see a guy.
Yeah, because we gotta round out this top 5 as
Yep,
well,
yep.
which we'll do
I
with this
see
next
that.
guy here, Josh
Yeah,
Allen.
let's put him. He's
Yep.
easily 2 or
I'm right
3.
up there.
I think he's
Interchangeable
number-
2 or 3.
I think he's number 3 for me. So
I don't know if Lamar's down. Allen's up. If Allen's up, Lamar's down. You know, I think those two go back and forth.
I just think Lamar is so much more dynamic.
Yeah.
What is this ad, man? Can I turn that off?
Now this guy is the one I was talking about. I think he rounds our top 10 in my opinion.
I think
last year he was
on.
on pace for a record year before he got injured.
We can put him there now. I do think there's some other guys that deserve it above him.
You're right. You're right. Actually, no, you're right. I would say Cousins. Yeah,
He
Cousins
can go
is
in the
decent.
beginning of the
Yeah,
year.
I agree. I agree with you. Now that I
Excited
got to
to
look at this
see
list a little
him
more.
on a new team though, with the weapons that he's got.
Yeah, true.
That's
Him
gonna
too,
that's gonna
yeah.
be that's gonna be a fun season. It's gonna be a fun season this year, just all around. Honestly, a lot of good rookies coming in, a lot of good moves.
Yep. And on this next one, maybe I'm meat writing, right? But
Absolutely.
But
Been meat riding the whole
I
time.
still think he's going to be better than the 3 in mid. Just saying.
I think we put him in rookie and proven.
Okay.
And then I think we also put Jaden Daniels there.
Yes.
And then I
That's
also think
fine.
we put Michael Penix there.
Yep.
Although
I don't know.
I think Michael Penix is going to have some interesting, like, not necessarily Taysom Hill-like packages, but I think they're going to use him. They drafted him so early.
Yeah.
They did,
They gotta
yeah,
use him
that
for
was
something.
Well, it's also because Kirk
Oh,
Cousins
really?
is 78.
That's true, yeah. All right, this next guy, Desmond Ritter, I am comfortable putting an ass.
Yep. I agree.
Yes.
He's a backup, but he's very not good at the game.
This is the guy I wanted to. This is the guy I was waiting for.
I mean,
This-
he's top 5.
He's top,
Yeah. He's top
Yes,
5. That's what I'm
he's
saying.
top 5.
He's top
Yeah.
5. I don't want to
Jalen
hear any
Hurts.
arguments. He's top 5. End it.
I'm agreeing.
Put him up there. That's it.
he's
Lock it
he's-
in.
he's
You're-
4th.
I agree with.
He's 4th for me.
Mason, quit meat riding. He's top 5.
Okay. I agree.
The Mason's not going to like where I put this guy.
Oh
This
my
is-
god.
Kyler Murray, short king himself.
Yep.
I think he goes there.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think Tua goes right in front of him.
Nope. Yeah, I think he goes behind him.
You think Tua's worse than Kyler Murray?
Whoa, no, Tua's better than Kyler.
I think
Okay.
Tua's better than Kyler.
I'm just saying, right? You got 2 of the fastest receivers in the league.
Okay,
just
you got a
gotta
point.
Throw it down there, and
You got a
somebody
point.
will be there.
Tua
Doesn't
is
really
what
take
Brock
much
Purdy is. Tua is what Brock Purdy is. A man that's thrown into a system to succeed.
And then you got 12 running backs who all run two flat 40s. So really tough to throw a ball down the field and go, Tyreek's there, I think.
Yeah, Tyreek's
So-
gonna be there. Dude, he said he challenged Noah Lyles, the Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, well,
Said
he's
he
been
beat
running it now, too.
He
I
probably
don't think he'd beat him.
I
don't
did
think
see
he'd beat
that.
him. Olympic speed is different than NFL speed.
Well, he did. He was a track
He ran
guy.
track. Yeah, he ran
Yeah,
track.
but did you not see he raced in like some national something and he got like 3rd. The Olympic guys smoked him.
He let those guys win.
took his foot off
He's
the
not
gas.
as fast as you think, man. Olympic speed is way faster than NFL
It's all
speed.
about the start too.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's killer, man. Killer.
It's just
Yeah.
I know we're not putting this simulcast yet, which will be coming soon. But we are just getting this full screen pop up every time I move the page. It is crazy.
I'll tell you what, those saucy nugs though, I'm getting a little hungry.
Yeah, for real. I have it pulled up on my screen. I'm following along with you, and I keep getting the Subway ads. And I'm just like,
dude, they're targeting me.
Like, Tear Maker, come on, figure your shit out. All right, these next two guys, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields.
Mid. They have to go mid.
Yeah, but above the three guys that are already there.
Yeah, they're going above mid. Now, who goes first? Is it Fields first?
I put Fields
Russell.
First.
No, Russell.
No, Fields.
Russell's already proven.
No, well, yeah. Let's ride.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
He'd
way down to the bottom.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree with Mason here. I think Russell Wilson just edges out Fields a little bit.
For now.
I mean, we'll see who ends the season starting.
Yep.
Right?
You're right.
We'll see.
You're right.
All right. Derek Carr, Mr. Recognize himself.
Ass. He's robbing a bank. That man is ass.
You mean Derek Carr, the drive ends at the 20-yard line? You're like, no.
Ass is blasphemy, and I will not stand for it.
Ass. That man is straight ass.
He is mid, if anything.
I mean, put him at mid, but I mean, Mason, you agree he's ass? You are putting him way too high.
Yeah.
Okay, realistically, though, not being biased and Derek Carr hating, I think he's mid, but he's exactly where you're putting him, above Flacco, Minshew, and O'Connell.
Okay, I agree. I think Carr goes behind Fields, which I can't believe I'm saying that, and he goes above Flacco.
Look, Carr has to score in the red zone to move any higher.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just saying that he's ass. He can't score in the red zone. That's part of his job. So
he doesn't have a problem getting you there. I just don't know if he knows how to score in the red zone.
Yeah, do you mean he's ass?
Touchdowns are what win games, man.
Got it.
Well, to be fair, every other guy in that mid category didn't win much games either.
Yeah, they didn't really build much around Fields, though. They just kind of gave him the key, saying, have fun.
Yeah, throw the ball up there. Try not to die. We're not gonna get any blocking for you.
Yeah.
All right, this next guy, Dakota.
This one's interesting.
It's
last year. Are we going based off of like what we think they're gonna do?
Yeah, this is for 2024. This is our predictions for where these
assuming
guys.
CD plays.
Yeah, assuming CD.
Maybe he's got to be top 5.
Yeah,
he's a good seasoned quarterback. Yeah. When it comes to playoffs,
I don't know, man, because then that only leaves 2 slots.
Top 5? I don't.
Man, that only leaves 2 slots, Fish, and there's 2 guys down here that is easily gonna make that jump.
I think at best Dak may be here, but I was gonna put him here between Lawrence and Cousins.
I didn't see we had the other 2 guys there.
Hey, real quick to make it easier, can we throw Lamar in the top 5 real quick?
Yeah.
We can all agree Lamar's top 5, right?
Can we throw Daniel Jones up at top 5 too?
We're gonna throw Lamar in the second place.
Yikes.
Or the first place in top 5, meaning he's a second ranked quarterback for us.
Yep. And then there's one more guy, just that way we could really get to where Dak Prescott belongs.
Oh, what are we doing here? Who's got
CJ Stroud? Put him in top 10 above Herbert, Goff, Love, and Purdy.
I think CJ Stroud's top 5.
That's over Burrow?
No, a healthy Burrow's insane. The Mahomes killer himself.
I'm sorry, I forgot about Burrow.
Yeah, I just saw him too.
I just saw him. I seriously did just see him. Yeah, Burrow can go right here.
Back and
behind Hurts. Behind Hurts.
Yep.
Get him in the back.
He's number 5.
He has to stay healthy to be a top 4 quarterback. If he's not healthy, he's still top 5.
I personally think he's number 4, but
don't you dare with that blasphemy.
Yikes.
All right, so I'm taking Dak back down just because we never really decided on him. Dak Prescott. Where are we at?
Okay, I'd take Purdy out, put Prescott there.
I disagree.
Really? Who would you take out?
I think
Dak Prescott's top 10. I don't think he's outside of the top 10.
I think he's number 11.
I think he's top 10. I think Purdy's on the way out.
Purdy is on the way out.
Put anyone in that system and they'll do well.
Yeah. Dak Prescott literally only has CeeDee Lamb. He didn't even have a solid running back.
I don't agree with what you guys are saying. I think Purdy's good.
Put it to the vote. But always put it to the vote.
I'll do it. I'll do it for the team.
Run the poll.
This is a democracy. This is not a dictatorship here. Speaking of, we're going to put this back.
Yeah, over under how many massage parlors Deshaun Watson goes to this year.
We're not ranking him to the last pick.
7.
I'd take the over.
All right, Zach Wilson.
Well, there's only one spot he goes in.
Back up.
What?
Oh, I was thinking ass.
I'll put him in the top.
Yeah, put him in the top. He's better than the other guys for sure.
Put him in the top. Put him in the top. Top headed to the ass.
Mason Rudolph at the end there. Bailey Zappi.
Back up.
I don't know if he's going to make the team, boys.
I think he does. I think he does, and they use him as a back. Who do you think? Milton's going to take over?
They got Drake May as a lock. I mean, they
Drake May
on him. They have
Milton.
Oh no, not Milton. Who's the guy? Played for the Browns. Played for the Commanders.
Oh, Sam Howell.
Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, no. Jacoby Brissett. I'm stupid. Wait, Sam Howell, where's he at?
He's in Seattle.
That's right, Seattle.
He's literally right here.
Oh, well, okay. I haven't looked at the list in a minute, man.
So I don't know why they have Zappi on this list. I don't think Zappi makes the team.
I agree.
I think they only roster 3 quarterbacks, and I think Joe Milton's going to be the third one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and unfortunately put Zappi in the ass tier.
Okay. I'm not mad at it.
I don't really agree with that, but that's where I'm going to put him. Anthony Richardson.
You could almost put this guy in unproven.
Yeah.
He only played 4 games last year.
And he did really well in those 4 games.
I'm going to put him between Daniels and Matt.
Yeah.
You guys comfortable with that?
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential this year, for sure.
Got to stay healthy, man.
All right, next we're going with my personal king, Jameis Winston, the pregame speech giver himself.
See that? That's a W.
He is the top backup in the league. He's
the whole best backup.
Now that Nick Foles retired.
Sam Howell will finish top 5 in NFL passing yards, and he's a backup.
He has all the morale in the league. He's just the guy when it comes to backup quarterbacks. And Sam Howell probably goes pretty quickly after him.
I put him right behind Winston.
Yeah, Sam Howell was very, very good. Yep. He could take over the
I agree. That's what I was thinking. I think if Geno takes a step back this year, Sam Howell steps in. He was leading the NFL in passing yards for 7 weeks.
Yeah, he's a good player. For some reason, it just ran out at the end, and that entire organization decided
he got beat to death. He got sacked the most of any quarterback by like double digits.
Yeah, so I agree with you there. Sam Howell is the second rated backup on this list for sure.
Mayfield.
Next, we have Baker Mayfield.
Decent.
Yeah, decent.
And I think he's above.
I think he goes here.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Above Kyler.
I don't know. Is he better than Tua though?
I don't know.
I'm just starting to think about Tua. Tua was an MVP candidate last year. For a little.
But it's like Fish said. I mean, he's just fucking it up there.
Yeah, true.
And his wide receivers are so damn fast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories I have about Baker, but that can be used for a different podcast.
Another 3 podcasts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Kenny, I cannot hold a Whopper Pickett.
Yeah, the tiniest hand in the world.
Put him at the very end of ass here.
I don't think he's that bad. I put him in the backup at least.
See, I would put him in the backup. I don't think he's really proven himself.
No.
Yeah, I'll put him in backup. I think he honestly goes probably between Trubisky and Mariota.
Yep, I agree.
Now we have Geno Smith.
Mid.
Yeah,
Wait, does
mid.
hold on, Pickett? Does Pickett go above Trubisky? Because didn't Trubisky take a spot last year?
I don't think he took a spot. Kenny
They
got
were,
hurt.
yeah, they were.
Oh, he got
running-
hurt. That's right.
They were
that's right.
pulling fans for quarterback at any point.
Yeah,
So I think
that's
he
right,
was
that's right.
up. Smith goes mid. I think he did really well that 1 year, got paid, and now he's taking a step back. So
Yep.
Would you put him at the top of mid or?
probably
Yeah, I would.
Speaking of mid, we have
Ass,
Daniel
ass,
Jones.
Ass, Daniel Jones ass, top of ass at least though.
I'm going to go ahead and say it now. You heard it here first. Daniel Jones is going to have a revitalizing year as quarterback for the Giants.
That's a crazy take.
Yeah,
Whatever you're
right.
smoking, give me some of that, please.
That's a
He's
crazy
got Malik
take.
Neighbors. He's got a better offensive line.
Yeah.
He should be fine.
Did you see the pass that he threw the other day?
Are you talking about the random pass that they showed in camp?
Absolutely. Overthrew by 12 miles.
Dude. Nobody
He
cares
threw-
about
They actually
your
measured it in
overthrown
knots.
pass in camp. Nobody cares.
I did.
Like,
He's
the
going to do
ball's
the
could have
same
slipped
shit.
out of his hands. It could have been wet. Nobody cares.
Look, all I'm saying
It's
is
a
that
one
where he
call.
was picked and how much he's getting paid, that man is ass. He is steamrolling New York right now, and those guys got their mouths down because they don't know what to do.
Yep.
This is, like Hunter said, this is the year that he has to prove himself.
I think he's at the beginning of
Revitalize.
ass right now though.
I'll put him
Revitalize.
there. I do not agree with that. Let it be known.
Now, keep in mind, he does have to play the Eagles and Dallas, who both have very, very good defenses. So,
Yeah, true.
4 of those games could be very much chalked,
Right off
We'll
rip.
see.
if not all 18. Just saying.
I think he goes at the end of mid right now. I think that's more of a let him prove himself kind of thing.
Okay, I could agree.
Yeah, hasn't he had 3 or 4 years to prove himself, though?
I mean, he's done.
I think he did that one year. He took him to the playoffs when he was healthy that whole year.
All right, put him in mid. When he's ass and he loses his job, then we move him back down.
I mean, this is the year he has to prove himself. You're right.
Yep.
All right,
Speaking of
next
the
we
year they got to
have-
prove themselves, this guy, Will Levis, I say you put him in
Levi G.
unproven. This
Unproven.
will be the year where we determine if Will Levis is actually good or not.
Look, he's got good enough receivers. DeAndre's still there. He's getting older, but he's still DeAndre, right?
Yep.
They also picked up Calvin Ridley, who again was suspended that 1 year, but has come back and played decently well. He's still relatively young. Their running backs is what's going to save him. They said that in camp that his accuracy has not been the greatest, especially for short passes. So they're going to give him more short passes. Who better than to have Spears and Tony Pollard catching those short passes, the dump passes out of the back?
Yep.
I think they do the short passes, they improve his confidence, then they open up the game that way. I think he's very, like Mason said, he's very much unproven.
Yep.
All right, so we want to put him in the unproven territory.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to put him further up, though. I'm
I
gonna put
agree.
him
I'd put him
probably
above
here.
everyone because he really's played. Yeah, not Caleb. No, not Caleb. No.
Sorry, forgot you love Caleb Williams.
It's the beat riding. That's it.
Be right, it has begun for the Patrick Mahomes clone.
All right, now we have Aaron Rodgers, coming off an Achilles tear, age 40.
This one's actually tough.
Can he still do it?
Yeah.
I mean,
This one's because I know where I want to put him. I just don't know who I want to put him in front.
how much ayahuasca did he do in the offseason?
It's gotta
Has he
be a
done
lot.
any darkness retreats?
So much. Apparently
Is
he's
he ready? I mean,
quote unquote fully vaccinated now too.
no, he's fully immunized.
I'm sorry.
I say put him at decent, but I wouldn't put him that high.
Tell me
I
when.
put-
Right now, for the listeners, we are above
I think the
30.
next guy goes where you're trying to put him, in my opinion.
there.
But
So
Yeah,
between Kirk Cousins and Trevor Lawrence is where we're putting
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
He'll come back. He'll do fine. He's
Yeah.
got another good receiver in Garrett Wilson.
yeah,
They gotta
he's a
run
guy
it
I
back.
see climb the list for sure.
I mean, they also have Brees Hall. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. I mean,
And they just
He'll be
beefed up their offensive line.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if Rodgers is going to be Rodgers. He's going to do his thing. He's going
Yeah.
to have a swagger into it. He'll be just fine.
Now, Matthew Stafford, I'd put him where you was about to put Rodgers. I don't think he's above Purdy.
You don't think he's above Purdy, so you think he's between Purdy and Cousins?
Yeah. I think Purdy took him to the Super Bowl.
We have Stafford in the decent tier after Purdy, making him the 12th.
Didn't Stafford win a Super Bowl?
Best quarterback.
He
did win a Super Bowl.
First year, and with the Rams, he did.
I mean, if we're going based on that, look, if we're talking about
that not a super team though?
Yeah, well, I mean, what does Purdy have? A super team.
Super team, but he didn't win. Team. Oh, crap. I just proved your point, didn't I? Okay, fine. Matthew Stafford against
Meet Righty Mason. Wrong on this account.
Above Purdy.
All right, so we're putting Stafford at number 11. I'm comfortable with that.
Look, if we're talking about heart, that guy is top. He'll be fine this year. He'll have a lot of interception. Again, he is aging. He's getting older.
So you honestly think Matthew Stafford's the 11th best quarterback in the league?
Over the ones that we have right now? Yes.
Over Purdy?
Yeah, I think look at the team, Mace.
I guess. Look
at the team.
I guess, you're right.
I'm just going to put it out there. I think Purdy is
better than Stafford.
Well.
Oh, yeah, I think so too.
There's some things I really disagree with on this list. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Burrow's too low. I think Purdy's too low. I think Prescott's too high.
You're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. Prescott was almost MVP if Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson didn't exist.
Yeah, because... All right. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, but whatever. All right, next we have 2 quarterbacks left. We have Bryce Young. I think we're all comfortable putting him at the top of ass tier.
I don't even say even unproven, low key.
He had a whole season to prove himself, and it just didn't.
Did he though?
Yeah,
that's like giving me the keys to a car with the transmission's about to run out.
Who did they have? They got rid of CMC, and then who is he supposed to throw to?
Yeah,
a created character. Like there's no one there to throw
fans
or run it. I was not him unproven. I think it's the same similar situation that we're running with Levi Jeans. He gets this year to prove himself. Supposedly they beefed up the offense. They got him Deontay Johnson, who's a clear number 1 in any offense. I think that this is the year that he has to prove himself. Again, in one of those situations where they gave him the keys, said, have fun, and then the man just got whopped. Every second he didn't have a chance to breathe. This is the year he's got to prove himself.
All right, so you putting him in front or behind Jaden Daniels for this year?
I probably in front, right? Like he's had time underneath his belt.
Yeah,
Jaden doesn't.
True.
I mean, same thing with Williams. Williams is a way better situation. I'd probably leave him right there, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, here's a guy I really didn't want to bring up at all, but we have the last quarterback to rank, Deshaun Watson.
I mean, literally saving the worst for last, you know?
Yeah, but I'm not going to be biased here because I don't really like Deshaun Watson. Now, 2016, 17 Deshaun Watson, different, but right now, this is just my take. I'd put him in between Wilson and Geno Smith.
I disagree there.
See, I would put him at decent.
I think he's in the decent tier.
He's at the same tier as Baker, Tua, Murray, Lawrence.
I think he's right here.
When he played, he did do well.
They won more games without him than they did with him.
He's 8-4 as the starter for the Browns when he plays. He did have an injury last year. He broke his shoulder. He did finish that game. He threw 14 for 14 in the second half of that game where he broke his shoulder. Led them to a very, very, I would say, season-defining win against the Ravens.
Yeah.
And I am comfortable with putting Deshaun above Baker.
Bring that up. That's fine.
I think that's a good list. I mean,
yeah,
we're gonna let you guys, the listeners, tell us what you think.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go ahead and blast this out on Twitter and Instagram. I might just do this tonight and tell you, hey, go ahead and take a look at this, and then you'll have to listen to the end of the show to see what we were saying about each of these quarterbacks. So
right.
As always, we appreciate you listening. Check the socials. We're at Game Time Gents everywhere. We appreciate you listening to us. I know this was a longer show. They will not always be this long, but we're still getting our feet wet here, trying to figure out how much content we should put into a show. So,
Right.
again, we appreciate your time. Thank you for listening, and
Yeah.
talk to you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Peace out.
See you guys.
See you.